What up, leaders? Welcome back to my channel. We are on the final stretch of this East Coast Bypass Road. We're on the track walking from the East Coast Junction that is at Corridor Park, Ogle. And we're walking south for about 4 miles. And now we're walking west probably for another 4 miles or 5 and 3 miles. But it seems as if this is an 8-mile bypass to get from Eccles to the East Coast would be 8 miles. And at this point, you can see the bridge. Those structures are from those tall peaks with cranes on them. Those are the towers of the Demerara River Bridge, the new Demerara River Bridge, and it's visible from here on the East Coast Bypass Road. And what has been completed is, so they've completed the north-south lanes. Remember, the road goes north-south past Ogle up to a point for 4 miles from the East Coast Highway. When it turns west, there's evidence that the road continues south. So what I'm waiting to see eventually is how they create that turn-off fee to get to the east bank and how they continue south. In other words, how far south are they going to go as far as Timeri, as far as Linden, Kokwani, because those are all parts south of where we are right now. And that's looking back in the direction from which we've come. We're now about 2 miles away from the southbound lanes where the road turns west onto what we are walking now. Now, this is all interesting to me because I'm looking at the foundation, the road foundation. I'm looking at the quality of the infrastructure that's being constructed. And as far as I see, this is good road, right? They're building a very good road here. The surface, although not yet complete, is definitely a better surface than exists on Heroes Highway. Remember, if you go back into the archives, you can see all of those videos that I've made during the construction of Heroes Highway, because I followed the construction of Heroes Highway from the beginning to this point where we are at now. And Heroes Highway was always a concussion road, basically. The road surface was undulating, and that's because the concrete surface that they made was never rolled. The good thing about these roads that are built with asphalt is that once they lay the asphalt, they put the rollers on, and then they can actually achieve a certain smoothness that was never achieved with the East Bank Heroes Highway, which is just about a mile or so ahead of us at this point. There you can see the Hagsbosch landfill, that mountain of land on the north side of the road. That's the landfill. You can see it from a distance here behind those trucks. They've completed most of the culverts at this point. Morning. Morning. So these guys are working on the intersection, or not intersection, but the cross of the culvert. That's looking east along the road. And as I said, all of this land that's now opened up on both sides of the highway, this East Coast Bypass Road, was once sugar plantation land, but it's already been acquired and is now going to become commercial and residential land developed for use, local use. In the distance, as I said, you can see the Demerara Bridge, as also the tops of the towers that will hold the high span section of the bridge, while straight ahead is the Hags Bosch landfill. Right, that's the Hags Bosch landfill, that mountain of trash straight ahead. And beyond that is the interchange, the Eccles interchange. And that's it. About 8 miles of new road connecting Eccles to Ogle, which means that you should be able to get from Ogle Airport to Mary Airport much more quickly now. There is an airplane probably leaving to Mary. I don't know if you can see it. We're probably coming in for a landing at Ogle because it's in that area between Ogle and Mary. But yeah, this is what is happening here. There's significant progress on the road and a lot of activity, a lot of construction activity, much more than where there was the last time we were here. I understand there's also going to be some government buildings, office buildings that are going to be constructed in this neck of the woods. I don't know exactly where that is, but I can see some evidence of a construction site. These cranes are working on a foundation for something substantial, although I don't yet know what it is. But as soon as it becomes clear what they're doing, I will definitely bring updates. But yeah, this is what's happening in this neck of the woods. These guys are working on laying the median, making it level. You know. So there's a whole lot of workmen all along the highway working on various aspects of the road. Beyond this red fence seems to be a major construction project. Like I said, I know there's a government, well, there's a billboard ahead, so I'm probably going to take a look at that billboard to see what it says. They're building over here. Seems to be a major construction project. So as far as the my rating of the quality of this road, I would say this is a pretty good road based on the foundation that's been constructed so far. I can see that it's also a long-term road. In other words, this road is probably going to last very long, just based on the amount of work that is going into the foundation here. And it's going to be a pretty smooth road based on the fact that they're carefully laying the surface and lining it up with asphalt. So this road is probably much more of a road that meets international standards, probably meets, I'd give it about 8 out of 10 by the time it's completed, but we'll wait until that happens to see where it lands. But it is a good road being built by the Indian nationals. Most of the guys I've spoken to along the way are either Indian nationals working on the road itself and Cuban nationals working on the drainage system, the culverts, and so on. And none of this traffic is commercial traffic. All of it is road construction related. Now here, there seems to be some major uh, development, construction projects going on. Didn't bring my glasses, but there's a billboard that says construction of government office complex, and it shows a picture of some towers. So apparently this is the site of the office complex that is going to be constructed here behind the Hagsbosch landfill. At least that's what the picture shows. And so beyond this red fence is the construction site. And you can see a lot of cranes in operation here. These guys are also working on the road over the construction site. Morning. So that's the construction site for the office towers, government office buildings going on behind. Behind the fence, and I guess all of this construction material is for that purpose. So this is it, guys. We are getting to the end of the East Coast Bypass Road here at Eccles. Right, that's what the road looks like looking back where we've come from. That's looking east. Right, that's looking east along the road where we've come from. And this is looking west. The points further west of this mound of clay earth seem to have been completed. The road itself is completed, with everything east of this pile of construction material is still under construction. There's also more construction material stored on the side of the road here. Like I said, this is what it looks like east of where we are. Material. Those guys are probably fetching material to work on the new government office complex. So this is it. This is what is happening here at the East Coast Bypass Road, where most of the construction still remains. And beyond this point, I think it's more or less completed, right? Based on what you can see from this point, it's more or less completed. It's about half a mile. It's about half of a mile and maybe a little more, 3/4 of a mile to the intersection. Guys working on the side of the road. So a lot of work, a lot of road work being completed here. Right, a lot of work. That's the landfill you can see in the distance. That's the Hags Bosch landfill. There was a fatal accident on that road to the landfill recently. This road to the landfill. But yes, at this point, we are back on the East Bank bypass road at the next intersection. So the last time we were here, they hadn't yet put in the median and the street lights. So that is some significant change or advancement since the last time we were here. And it looks like it's been completed. In other words, this section of the East Coast Bypass Road seems to have been completed. Share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening in the fastest growing economy in the world, Guyana. These guys are taking trash to the landfill. This is the entrance of landfill. And this is now a busy road. It's already a busy road.